ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Quad Boss Lee. And today, as you can tell in the back, we are working on the Ford Freestyle. And today we're actually going to replace the water pump in it. We're going to replace it on my 2006 Ford Freestyle 3.0 liter V6. So first things first, let's get started. All right, so first things first, we're going to take our negative terminal off our battery. Once we get that done, we're actually going to head up underneath the car and actually start draining the coolant out of the radiator. Alrighty guys, so we are up underneath the driver's side right by the headlamp, and this is where our radiator drain is. I've stuck a hose on the end so I can actually put it in a container. So we're just going to take a 3/4 inch socket and loosen up that white nut, and then you'll start seeing it coolant come out, and we're just going to go ahead and let the coolant drain. Okay, so while the coolant is draining, we're going to go ahead and take off this air box so we have a little bit more access to our water pump. So we're going to disconnect our mass airflow sensor here. We're going to take a 5/16 socket or a flathead screwdriver and loosen this clamp and then pry this box off. You could pry the whole box off, it's screwed in right here, or you could just take the front cover off, which is just held in by these two clips. So we'll go ahead and take this off so we have more access to our water pump. Alrighty guys, so I got the air box completely out. So now we have complete access to our thermostat housings and all of our hoses. So the next step we're going to do is disconnect all of our hoses. So this hose here, these top two, that one back there. There's also another hose right down here, this one back here, and then also the one that goes on the water pump as well. So we're going to take all those hoses off. You'll probably get a little extra coolant coming out just from where it's at, but just have a few rags on the ground, you should be all right. So we'll go ahead and disconnect our hoses. Once we get the hoses disconnected, then we'll be able to start taking off our thermostat. Alrighty guys, so we got all of our hoses disconnected. Now we're ready to take off the thermostat. The thermostat is held in by two 5/16 millimeter bolts. There's one right there, and there's one right on the other side, right there. So we're going to go ahead and take those off, and that'll allow our whole thermostat housing to come off, which will give us access to start taking off the actual water pump. Alrighty guys, so we got our thermostat housing out of there. Now you can see the inside of the water pump. So we got 4 bolts that hold this on. We got one right down here, it's on the other side, that bottom one there. You got one up top here, follow it across, right there. And there's also one right at the bottom there. It's gonna be this bolt right there. And that's gonna be it. Once we get those undone, we're gonna go ahead and take a 13 millimeter and grab that middle one out, and then this whole water pump will come out. All right guys, so our water pump is out, and there's our camshaft. So I went in there and kind of cleaned things up a little bit, make sure it's all smooth and ready to go. So we're gonna go ahead and take our new water pump and go ahead and install it. Alrighty guys, so I got the water pump in there, hand tightened the inner screw in the side, and then the 3 outside bolts, I just snugged them. Now, you wanna make sure that it's on the camshaft. You should take your finger and try to turn the blades, and they can't turn, that means you're on. We're gonna start torquing these to factory specs. Your center 13 millimeter bolt is gonna be 35 inch-pounds. And then the outside bolts, all of them, even these ones that came on the water pump already, are going to be torqued down to 89 inch-pounds. So we're going to go ahead and do that to all of them, and then we should be able to start putting our thermostat back together. Alrighty guys, so here's our thermostat housing. The thermostat is right on the inside. If you flip it over, you can actually see your thermostat inside there. So we're actually going to get that out. We're going to have to take this bottom piece off, which is held in by 3 5/16 millimeter bolts. So we're going to go ahead and untighten those, and then we should be able to pry this back and then get to our thermostat. All right guys, so here's our old thermostat. Now there is an O-ring in here, you can see on the side there, and then you got your thermostat. So we're going to just go ahead and take a screwdriver and pry this guy out. Once we get it out, we're going to take our new one, put it in there, and then we're going to take our new gasket and put it on there as well. And then we'll go ahead and slap this back on here. Make sure when you put these screws back in, to do it evenly, do it in a crisscross pattern, just that way it completely seals that seal evenly. We get that screwed in, we'll go ahead and move back to the car and put it back on the car. Alrighty guys, so I got our bolts tightened down nice and tight. Everything seems to be fitting flush. Everything is torqued on the specs and everything like that. So all we got to do is put our hoses back on here, and then go ahead and put our air box in. Then we'll also have to shut off the drain hose at the bottom for the radiator, and then we can start filling this bad boy up. Alrighty guys, so I put the air box back, I reconnected the battery, and I filled up our reservoir. It's right where it needs to be, and I do have it running. Now we're just gonna inspect for leaks. I'm gonna go around the hoses and everything, go up underneath the car, look by the camshaft, see if I got any leaks. If not, we'll just let it run up the temperature, make sure the thermostat works and everything like that. And then we'll be done. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it is the next day and we have no leaks anywhere on the hoses, nowhere underneath the car. The fluid level is right where it needs to be. So we have fixed our issue. We did have a slow leak and it was the water pump. So we got that all replaced, new thermostat, basically almost a whole new cooling system. So guys, if you guys like this video, please just give the video a like. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Quad Boss League so you can see more helpful videos like this and also fun videos with our toys. So if you haven't already, subscribe guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.